Welcome! For those of you who don't know, I am Ashley from Soaring Sparrow Healing. Welcome to my space. I wanted to talk a little bit more around medicine drums. How amazing! One of the questions that I get asked on a regular basis, or a big comment that I get from everyone, is, oh my gosh, I love your drums. They're so beautiful, and they want to know more about them. So I thought that I would take this time to just talk a little bit about a medicine drum, how the drum works within my shamanic toolkit, and what the drum itself actually represents, and why when we are doing shamanic work do we work with a medicine drum. So I've got a few different medicine drums, and they're all different animal skins. Bear with me. Different animal skins, and it's really interesting because each of my drums that I have very different personalities. And really, when we look at a medicine drum, it's not just a drum that we just pick up and go, cool, I'm just gonna play a drum over top of someone for healing. It's about really taking the time to connect and to bond with your drum. So traditionally, a drum is made out of animal hide, and the main, the different hides that you can get, there's a bunch of different ones that you can get. The main ones that you'll find are deer, okay, so deer, goat, kangaroo here over in Australia, and sometimes you can get like buffalo and things like that as well. So it just depends on what's available and what you feel called to. So at the moment, I have 4 drums. So I've got that one there behind me. I've got this beautiful drum here, which this is Rue. So she is my kangaroo drum. And I really absolutely love this drum. She is the one that comes with me to do all of my healing work and to do my workshops with me, because she is all about empowerment. She's about rebirth and really about creating deep, lasting connections. So when we have a medicine drum, so there's a couple of different energies that we are working with when we are working with a medicine drum. So we've got the actual hide of the skin, so the animal. So this particular drum, Rue, she is kangaroo hide. So I actually birthed this drum, so I made her. And for me, that was a really special experience. So when I connected in with the actual hide as I was birthing her, what she showed me is that she was actually, she was a mama kangaroo, and she had actually been hit on the side of the road. I know, so sad, right? So she had actually been hit on the side of the road, and then someone came and respectfully collected her to give her a new life, okay? But the big thing that came through from that message for me was rebirth. So you've got the actual energy of the kangaroo. So kangaroos are about moving forward. They are about the power of stillness and grace, but also about that strength and that momentum in moving forward. So I love the fact that, that rebirth feminine energy is really coming through in this drum. So you've got the actual hide. Then you have the actual hoop of the tree. So our trees are the wisdom keepers. Our trees hold so much knowledge on this land, and so being able to bring in that energy and that knowledge through the hoop of the actual drum is really powerful as well. And the fact that the drum is a circle, right? So then we also are working with that medicine wheel energy as well, so that sacred container. And also as well, it's that representation that life is infinite, right? That we're always going through a cycle, okay? And that there is no beginning and end. Also as well, representing that everyone is equal, which I think is really beautiful, okay? So for me as well, when I was birthing this drum, I don't know if I can show you. So in the actual hoop itself, so this came through, which if you look, to me, it looks like a vagina, which I love. So that for me was just like a really beautiful message of that rebirth energy. So you can also have a look through the actual wood as well. And if you know what type of wood it is, because each tree also has its own energy, its own medicine as well that you can connect in with. So then traditionally, with how the drum and the backing is made, so you can get some really beautiful different designs out there as well, which will all have its own energy, its own story to it. I really like this design as, to me, it's that representation of the 4 cardinal directions. And because this is a bigger drum, I had to do more than just the 4, whereas with this drum, so this is Jessa, she's a deer. So as you can see, she's just got the 4 directions. So she's actually a smaller hoop. So she didn't need the other directions to be pulled in. So this is just 4, so the north, south, east, west. So glad I know my directions, okay? Whereas this one has 6. So it's so it's also bringing in that energy and that connection of Mother Earth and Father Sky as well. So you've got that other those other elements being brought in to the actual energy. So yeah, so and this the backing on this drum is all used with the actual hide itself. So it's all being used in the beautiful energy of the drum. So some people also ask me, like, what is this little thing on here as well? So with the lady, the couple that I birthed this drum through, that they actually provide a beautiful healing pouch. So in here I've added in some of my own unique medicine, some crystals for healing and things like that, and I've actually tied it onto my drum, and it's just stayed there. You can take it off after the drum has cured and it's ready to be used. I just personally love to have that because it's just that that extra layer of protection and just that intention that I've put into the actual drum as well, I feel lives in this beautiful little medicine pouch. So that just stays with the drum itself. So if you are looking at getting a drum for yourself, so you can buy a drum or you can birth your own drum, whatever calls to you. Really, one thing that I feel is really powerful is if you have the opportunity, if you're buying a drum, to actually play the drum itself, because the drum is going to have its own energy and its own medicine, and it's about creating a bond with your drum. So this drum, so this is my goat drum. This is Jasper. Okay, my drums have named themselves. So as you can see, this one has a different backing, which is really cool and unique in its own way. This is actually used with a string as opposed to the actual hide. And yeah, so it's got the, again, so the 4 directions, okay? But then we've also got the direction of Mother Earth and Father Sky, and then also Grandmother Moon and Grandfather Sun, okay? So again, just a bit of a different feel to it, but this one I bought, and when I played the drum, felt an instant bond and connection with the drum, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna think about it, and so I walked away, and I came back, and I was like, I physically got about 3 steps away from the shop, and I went, nope, going back. Spirit like just stopped me. They're like, you need that drum, okay? So with every drum as well, so you've got the energy of the hide, you've got the energy of the actual hoop of wood, and then you also as well, each drum will be essentially have its own spirit attached to it as well. And what do I mean by spirit? So Jasper has a Thunderbird, so very Thunderbird-like energy in there, which is really, really, really powerful. Whereas my other drums, I've got snake energy, and the other one has, I think it's Horus, which is like the Greek, drawing a blank right now, one of the Egyptian gods that kind of came through as well. So again, they all have their own unique personalities, their own energy, they all sound different as well. Like even, so this one back here is a deer drum. So I've got 2 deer drums, very different, very, very different. They're pretty much the same size, but just they sound so different. So with the drums themselves, so if you have a drum and so if you've got a drum or you are looking at getting a drum or making a drum, once you get that drum, even if you've had it for a little while and you use it for healing work or you just use it for yourself, I really invite you to actually take the time to just sit with the drum. So it might just be sitting with the drum and just doing a bit of a meditation with the drum, and just connecting in with it, because again, especially if you're using it for healing work for yourself or for clients, really, really important that you bond with your drum, because the stronger of the bond that you have with the drum, the more the drum will be able to speak to you. So when you are learning to play the drum and connect with the drum, it's not necessarily about, just sitting and do do do. So it's not necessarily just going like do 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 do. So as you can see, my drum is very flat at the moment. It's a bit cold here. So also knowing what frequency your drum likes to be played at. And when you are learning to play your drum, it's not about, like I said, just tap, 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 tap. It's about actually allowing yourself to drop into the energy of the drum. So you are not playing the drum is leading the session. The drum is playing itself in a way. So when you're tapping into it, and you're setting your intention. So with shamanic work, everything that we do is about intention, right? So we are setting an intention for our healing, for what we are doing, for what we are journeying for, whatever it might be. And so when we start tapping in, so the drum itself is actually telling me how it wants to be played and where it wants to be played. So really taking the time to really connect in. So then with the drum as well, you also have a beater with the drum. Now the beater itself also has its own unique medicine, right? Because we've got the energy of the actual stick and wood in there as well. And also, so this is another beater that I have. So with the actual beaters, with the head of the beater, so see how that, because it's a bit of a harder beater, so it's it changes the sound of the drum again, whereas this is more soft. So, and I've got another beater as well, which has more, it's quite hard, so it's like very like boom, 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 boom. So again, the drum will respond differently to different beaters as well, as it connects in. And it's almost like they create a bond with that beater as well. So like this beater belongs to Jasper. Okay, my other drums, I can play it with my other drums, but they're just kind of like, meh, yeah, okay, like I'll play, but meh. Whereas this guy, my other 2 drums absolutely love this beater. It just really resonates with them, and I feel like they just kind of go on their own journey together as we're playing, which is really cool. So yeah, so that's a little bit about the medicine drums. Also as well, if you are looking at birthing your own medicine drum, really sit with the person that you want to do it through. So for me, something that I learned very early on, my very first drum I made, the lady that I birthed it through, there wasn't really much in the way of ceremony from my perspective of what I felt. She did a beautiful job. She held beautiful space. But I didn't really feel that I actually connected with the animal and connected with the actual hide as I was birthing the drum. For me, it just felt like, cool, I'm birthing the drum and I'm saying a mantra as I'm stringing it. It didn't really feel that that beautiful energy of actually connecting in and honoring the animal, because we're using, we're essentially asking permission to work with this animal and to work with the animal that it used to be and the animal that it is now. So it is about that honoring, and that's really what the shamanic has really taught me. Is it's about honoring the medicine that we are working with. So whether it's a plant medicine, whether it's an animal medicine, whether it's a spirit animal, a power animal that's coming through, or whether it's a physical animal that's coming through, it's about honoring those messages and honoring that energy that we are working with. So my other drums that I have birthed, the beautiful thing with those drums is that we did a ceremony. So I can highly recommend Tanya and Brad through Rustic Elements. I'll tag them below. They are really beautiful with that. There's also some other really beautiful women around that I know of here in Australia that also do such a beautiful ceremony when it comes to birthing drums. It's just absolutely gorgeous. But with that, it was a very different experience with the second and the third drum that I birthed, because it was about honoring the animal. We got to sit and actually do a journey and connect in with the animal that had gifted its hide to us for us to use, to see what messages actually came through from that hide that wanted to be put into the drum as we birthed the actual drum. And then even as we were, cutting the hide itself, it was about doing everything with intention and purpose and connecting in with the actual hide as well. So really, really, really powerful when it comes to that. So that's a little bit about the medicine drums. And if this is something that is really calling to you and really interesting you, that you want to know more about this side of stuff, I do have the Sacred Shaman membership, which is all about not just the shamanic side of things, but just empowering yourself with tools that are helping you on your healing journey and are helping you in moving forward. So it's a really beautiful community of women who are all at different stages in their healing journeys, but it's about empowering them, learning some shamanic tools to help with that empowerment, and learning different ways that they can really step in and embrace their uniqueness and their unique medicine as they are growing and learning. So inside the membership, you would learn more around, the shamanic drumming, how to journey, how to connect in with the 3 shamanic realms. I also put in there some guided meditations, and everything I do is intuitive. So I really feel into the group of the tribes that we have inside the Sacred Shaman around what energy is needed, what they are shifting through, and what messages need to come through for the tribe and for the women that are inside of that membership. So inside the membership, you get to learn new tools, you get to revisit some tools that you maybe already have in your toolkit, but looking at things from a different perspective, a different way of honoring certain things. But everything that I do inside of there is coming from that shamanic practitioner lens and that medicine woman lens, around what is going to help empower you on your journey. So if that is something that is calling to you, the doors are open at the moment. I do intakes of women at certain times throughout the year, so it's not something that's open all the time. And the reason why I do it that way is because I want to actually bring, as I'm bringing in each group of women, is that they actually get their own tribe animal. And that tribe animal, very much like the drum, works with them in a unique way because it's part of their unique medicine. So the doors are open at the moment. They are closing in a couple of weeks. So jump in now. You've got two options. You can do a month to month, which you do have the ability, if you do choose to do so, to cancel at any time. Or you can do 6 months at a time, which again, you do have the ability to cancel, and it will just cancel at the end of your billing cycle for you, if that is something that you choose to do. But yes, it is a really beautiful space to be a part of and a community to be a part of. And one thing that has always been very important to me inside of that community is to make sure that every single person inside of there feels seen and heard. So you're not just another number. It is about a community. It is about being a part of something and having like-minded women to share that part of your journey with you as you tap into more of that woo-woo side of who you are and explore more of that side of who you are. So I'm looking forward, I'm really looking forward to connecting with you and celebrating you in that space. But yeah, that's a bit about the medicine drum. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'd love to, as you can tell, I'm really passionate about this. So definitely, if you have any other questions, let me know. But it was such an honor to share some of this knowledge with you around the medicine drum. So have a great afternoon. I hope.